So today I'm going to talk about what I think is the number one piece of advice for guys that are just now starting out hunting. I'm going to be making a lot of examples from public ground, but this applies at any, if you want to call it like greenhorn, whatever, confidence isn't very high, those kind of things. My number one piece of advice is you have to just go and do it. There is no way around it. You can listen to the podcast, you can talk to your favorite hunters, you can talk to all your forum guys, everything. It does not replace just going out there and messing up. And you can't be scared to mess it up. And that's what I mean by going and doing it. And so the reason that I kind of bring this up is not only have I had a couple questions from guys that are, 3-4 years deep into their hunting process. A lot of these guys are hunting public. But here recently, I actually got on a pretty big buck on public, and this is a piece that I started out hunting. I actually shot my first public land buck, which is somewhere over my head here, on this piece of property. And so I know this property really well, and I know what it looks like, but now that I'm going back in it with a vetted eye, I've realized a lot of the mistakes that I was making. I thought I was being aggressive, and a lot of times I was just being stupid. I thought about how I was accessing it was terrible. I thought I was doing good, but I was blowing deer out before I ever got there, and I didn't even know it then. And it isn't until looking back on it now that I'm like, oh, I was making these huge mistakes that I didn't know that I was making. And now that I see those mistakes, I can, make a better game plan to hunt this property and hopefully get on this big buck that I found. I wanted to make this video because now that I'm really diving into it and I've had some questions from guys that are relatively green, like my number one thing that I see them is just they're nervous to go get out there. They don't want to mess it up. They don't know if they should push this far. They don't know. And over the weekend, I was at the Whitetail Roadshow, and my buddy actually asked this question to Andre. And Andre said, dude, you're either trying to kill the big buck or you're trying to learn. And you can't be scared to just up while you're trying to learn. I agree with that hands down. I got a lot of friends that are waiting for me to go scouting, wanting to go scouting with me, and that's all fine and dandy, but I learned it by just going and doing it and messing it up. Now you have onX, so there really shouldn't be a reason why you can't find the public ground, know where you're at, know where you can and can't be, and have access to phone numbers. Like back in the day, you didn't have that. And so there's all these other tools that can help you, where you're not going to get in trouble by the law. And everything else is just you're going to have to figure it out. You're going to have to go in there and kick that buck up 8 times and never see him again. You're going to have that buck come in and wind you and be like, why did he win me? And then thought you had the thermal figured out, thought you had a bulletproof access point, and you didn't. And there's always next year, there's always a couple years later, to be able to hunt these properties. And so anyways, that's my number one piece of advice, guys, for all you new hunters, all the guys that are getting out there this year that are maybe only 3-4 years deep, want to make that transition from just shooting deer to shooting a nice buck and really trying to hone in and figure it out. Just go do it. You're going to get too close to the deer. You're going to bump them. You're going to have a big buck that you'll never see again. You're going to miss them. You're going to have bad opportunities because you weren't set up correctly. That's how I've learned to be in the right place, by being in the wrong place so many times and adjusting. So anyways, guys, get out there, hunt hard, scout harder.